swift as the coursing river, with all the force of a great typhoon, with all the strength of a raging fire, mysterious as the dark side of the moon.
So that's what it takes to be a man, according to Disney. It sure sounds good, but of course Disney doesn't have the answer. And neither does this prime example of misogyny. But he still has thousands of fans who soak up everything he spits out.
I'm just trying to combat the messages that the liberal left is putting out to young men about their male instincts being toxic. Society wants them to be ashamed of their masculine natures.
Like it or not, celebrities are role models, and that's not always a good thing. Right now, that's especially the case for men. And I'm not saying that men have it harder than women. That's a whole different topic. But as a mom of a little boy, I am concerned what kind of a man he grows up to be and what kind of a man the world makes him. Because there are more than enough bad examples of men in movies and on TV who treat women horribly. Sometimes those abusive assholes are even invented by women as love interests.
Are you lost, baby girl?
I mean, of course, fantasies aren't a bad thing, but it gets to the point where men justify their bad treatment of women in real life with those fantasies. Because women obviously want to be oppressed. Nice guys finish last. Even Tupac was once told by a woman that he is too nice to date.
I was liking this girl in town. She told me I was too nice. They call girls the B word, you know, and they smack and beat and they're getting girls. And I'm going, peace and I think you're beautiful, and they're going to me, well, I like him because he's masculine. I'm masculine.
Of course he is masculine. Being nice isn't something that makes one feminine, but that's the point. We pride ourselves as this modern and accepting generation where everyone's equal. But let's be honest, when it comes to masculinity, we still have ancient stereotypes.
Now I'm having a son. I'll have to teach him how to play sports and watch sports.
Men have to be strong and reliable, and they have to solve their problems on their own. These expectations often come from men themselves.
If any of you need anything at all, too bad. Deal with your problems yourselves like adults.
On the other hand, women often want men to be more emotional. But then they still can't handle it if he cries in front of them. At the same time, men are often made fun of by society as being lazy or childish or useless. And then there are, of course, the extremes. Some think men are the ultimate enemy. They are toxic. For others, they are just about the greatest beings ever, just because they have a penis. Congratulations. So it's no wonder that some seem to be stuck in some kind of male identity crisis, and that can be dangerous.
78% of all suicides completed last year were by men, yet only 1/3 of the population of people in therapy were men.
Instead, they turn to so-called alpha males who provide some kind of solution. And this solution, in turn, is often bad for women. That is why I think it is so important to show the opposite, to show good men. And in the last few weeks, there were a few celebrity men who did just that. Like Ke Huy Quan, who won just about every movie award there is, and every time he showed exactly how he felt.
Mom, I just won an Oscar.
Oh my God! We did it! We did it! We did it! Wow!
Arnold Schwarzenegger took a stand against hate and anti-Semitism, and he spoke specifically to those who are already on a bad path.
No matter how far you've gone, I want you to know that you still have the chance to choose a life of strength. But you have to give up your war against everyone that you hate. Whether you hate them because of their color of the skin, or their religion, or their gender, or their sexual orientation, it doesn't matter. Give it up.
On CNN, Bryan Cranston advocated for the rights of minorities when he said this.
When I see the Make America Great Again, my comment is, do you accept that that could possibly be construed as a racist remark? And most people, a lot of people go, how could that be racist? Make America great again? I said, so just ask yourself from an African-American experience, when was it ever great in America for the African-American? So if you're making it great again, It's not including them.
And Pedro Pascal was asked by a paparazzi about the LGBTQ plus characters in The Last of Us.
Can I ask, what do you say to the people that don't want to see the LGBT character love stories?
They do.
Of course they do. With Bill and Frank, The Last of Us had a wonderful love story.
Look, I was never afraid before you showed up.
At the very least, the greatest love story in a post-apocalyptic zombie world. And even people who don't like these kind of things were touched by it.
Why is it so important to have LGBTQ plus characters on TV shows?
You should know why.
And then Mr. Pascal posted this on his Instagram account. These celebrity men use their platform to show that men are emotional beings because they are humans. They can be happy and sad and angry and fearful and overwhelmed and everything else without being weak or somehow losing their masculinity. And I really hope that they reach as many as possible who are struggling. Like boys who do thousands of sit-ups or even take steroids because they think they need a six-pack to be a man. Or young men who are so lonely that they turn hateful, or dads who tell their sons to be a man. How about be a good man, or just be human? And if you feel like it, then cry, or laugh, or do both at the same time. No matter if you're Ke Huy Quan at the Oscars, or just someone in the middle of the street.